If you would love to sit in a room and spend a couple of days working on your business, sitting in a room with other like-minded business people where you're going to get both shared wisdom and collective momentum, this is what we do in our mastermind program. If you would like to join us, this is for our members only, right? Our members come to these 3 times a year. Our mastermind intensive members get together for 2 days. They spend 2 days in a room together working on very specific parts of their business. But this isn't just a talk fest. It's really hands-on, practical stuff. We get guest speakers coming in and they walk away with an executionable plan that they can put into place in their business straight away. Now, we always keep a couple of spots open for our guests. If you would like to join us in Brisbane on the 25th and 26th of March at Ridges in the Valley in Brisbane, just comment intensive and we will get you all of the details. Spots for guests are super limited and you've got to be able to commit to both days. But if you want to spend 2 days and really power deep dive into your business and walk away with some very, very cool tools that you can implement straight away, comment intensive below. 25, 26 March here in Brisbane. We'll get you all the details. The goal here isn't to simply outsource tasks. So if you really want to get this time and freedom back and then ultimately scale the money in your business, you got to stop doing everything yourself. And because what happens is you become the bottleneck. And so this outsourcing isn't just about getting shit done by somebody else. It's actually about building a system that enables other people to do things without your constant supervision and in a way which then actually helps to scale your business.
If you want more time, money, freedom, and have a business that's not reliant on you, then you're in the right place. Each week, Mark Creedon, along with some of the very best business minds in the world, will take you through simple, practical steps you can take to create the business you always wanted. From his own practical experience, Mark will show you how to work less, make more, and get the business you always wanted, the one that you deserve. Now here's your host, one of Australia's most sought-after business coaches, Mark Creedon.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Mastermind for Business podcast. Joining me on the couch always is my business partner and far better half, Caroline. Thanks for rolling up again.
Thank you. Thanks for helping me with my mic.
You're welcome anytime. Hey, listen, this week we want to talk about how you can outsource without losing control. Because I think that one of the things that we see with our mastermind clients, Caroline, is they know there's shit they shouldn't be doing, right? They know there's stuff they shouldn't be doing. They know there's things they should be outsourcing. And by outsourcing, I want to be really clear. We're not necessarily talking about offshoring. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But really outsourcing is just about getting shit off your plate. They know there's things that they shouldn't be doing, but they keep doing them because they worry about losing control. And in fact, one of the biggest objections that we get when we talk to people about outsourcing is, but I'm going to lose control of that. So we've got a way of helping them to move past that.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a double-edged sword with what we hear from our clients. And everyone, I think there'd be lots of listeners who would be hearing these things and go, oh my God, that's me. You know, everybody's so under the pump with things all the time. What do they've got to, I've got to get so much done. I'm tired.
Yep.
I'm worried about the quality of the work I'm putting out. And, you know, outsourcing what they need to, they're just so resistant on it because they're worried that they're going to have to fix up the problems afterwards. And that's not always the case if the systems and structure is in place.
Well, I think that's a really good point you add there, in that really this concept of outsourcing is about systems. So we talk about outsourcing and delegation. They're just so closely aligned. The things that we hear why people don't outsource or why they don't delegate is, it's just easier if I do it myself. Mm-hmm. Nobody can do it as well as I can. Like, we had $1 every time we heard that.
I don't have the time, and I don't have the time to teach people how to do my job.
But the reality is, if we're talking about scaling, and hopefully people listening to this podcast, the reason they're listening here is because they want to scale their business, right? So if they want to scale the business, that involves moving beyond a ceiling. If you do everything yourself or everything comes back through you, you're just reinforcing the ceiling in your business, aren't you?
Totally.
Yeah. And I think so the thing what we've got to do is just understand that, how do we create a system? And I think there's kind of some really simple components to the system, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. If you're wanting to change, if nothing changes, everything stays the same. But if you're not organised or prepared in the outset, you're going to struggle with the concept of outsourcing or
Yep.
delegating. And what we want to make sure is that there are a few different things. So clear expectations,
Yep.
defining the process of what you're wanting people to achieve, making sure there's measurable outcomes, and making sure that onboarding process is clear in your mind as well as anybody else who might be involved in that. But this is a real clarity piece when we're talking about onboarding.
So everything that we do in Mastermind, we break into pretty simple processes. And you've gone through the process here of breaking this into a simple 6-step process that anybody listening now can follow. So if you're out driving your car or going for a jog while you're listening to this, listen, don't make the notes now. But there is a very simple 6-step process, isn't there? I mean, all the things you've discussed and getting clear expectations, being really defined and refined on the process, having measurable outcomes and accountability, KPIs, etc. But all of that stuff sounds really complicated. And I think sometimes that's why people move away from taking things off their own plate, because they go, oh, yeah, I've got to create an accountability system. I've got to create a system for doing it. I've got to document it. I've got to create a standard operating procedure and a KPI and an OKR and all these other acronyms. And in the end, they just tear their hair out and throw your hands in the air and put it in the too hard basket. But there's a really simple 6-step process they can follow.
Yep. I'll start with I've got a couple of notes here. So let's start with what I've got here. So one of the things that is a part of the 6 is deciding on the what should be outsourced, because there's different areas that should definitely be outsourced and ones that should absolutely not be outsourced. So I would always say that your strategic work should never be outsourced. So things like your vision for your business, the key relationships and leadership decisions, and your high net worth clients should not be delegated or outsourced.
It's not like your premium, what we would call your A-grade clients.
Yeah.
You want to keep that for yourself. So those kind of real strategic decisions are the things that you shouldn't outsource. By the way, that doesn't mean you shouldn't get help with it.
No.
But you just don't outsource that. So you look after the strategic things. Okay, so if that's the case, what do I outsource?
Yeah, operational. Definitely operational things.
Yep.
And often the specialist works that get done in your business.
Yep.
So with your operational things, administration, bookkeeping, marketing execution, your data entry and CRM management, all those things that as a business owner, I go, oh, yuck.
That's right. But I mean, how many clients have we sat with when they first joined Mastermind and they go, oh, yeah, and I do my own bookkeeping, I do my own marketing. And particularly if you're dealing with couples in business, we often find that there's one person that does the kind of the work, if you like, and there's another person in the background, if I can call it that does the admin, the bookkeeping, the marketing, the data entry. And yet what we've seen is if we free that person up and get them into more of the strategic work, the business does actually scale.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody said to me, Caroline, I can give you 2 hours a week extra, that you spare time that you've got to do things, but you have to let me take over your bookkeeping or let me take over your administration work. Boom, all day long. You'd be crazy not to.
See, it's an interesting thing, and I want our listeners to think about this. Let's use bookkeeping as an example, because it's one of the things that we often see people reluctant to let go of, right? But the thing about bookkeeping is you get yourself a bookkeeper for 90 or 100 or 110 bucks an hour. Good bookkeeper. Let's call it 100 bucks an hour. So you're paying somebody 100 bucks an hour. You're spending 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe more, maybe 10 hours a week doing your bookkeeping. There's $1,000. But they will do it in half that time. So now it's $500.
Yeah.
So you need to think about this. Could you make more than $500 in the 10 hours that you are spending on your bookkeeping? And if the answer to that is yes, so in other words, let's just take a trade example. For example, where you've got one person that's doing the selling or one person that's doing the trading and a partner in the background. If that partner in the background could free up that 10 hours and instead could get into selling, promoting, developing new products or new services, business ideas, improving staff, looking after the team better, all of those things, would that make more than $500 for the business? And invariably the answer is a resounding yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Look, moving on to some of your specialist roles there, we are not all graphic designers.
No.
We think we might be.
No, I don't. I can't draw a stick man.
Your video editing, I mean, we have Nick and his team look after all of this for us, and they're fantastic. It is not my gig.
But can I jump in? That's a really good example, in fact, because whilst Nick shoots all these videos and directs the videos for us and for the Metropole Group, he doesn't do the editing.
No.
Right? He outsources the editing because it's really long, it's long-winded, it's technical. Not saying you can't do it, but if you get somebody else to do it, and they'd probably do it at a much quicker rate and at a cheaper rate than what he charges us. So he's probably making a profit on that. Thought about that.
Think about that. We have to have a chat to you smiling.
He's smiling.
Nobody just is smiling now.
All right. Yeah. No, good stuff. I mean, graphic design, SEO, video, they're all the things that you should be outsourcing, right? Yeah. And the thing too, Caroline, is that with the use of AI, please don't fall into the trap of just thinking, I can just get ChatGPT to do all this stuff for me or Claude to do all this stuff for me. In due course, I'm sure that will be the case. But there still needs to be a human element involved in this. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there needs to be the emotion in there, which with your chat GPTs and your Claudes just can't do at this stage.
Well, there needs to be emotion, but more importantly, I think there needs to be, or equally importantly, there needs to be a connection and a true understanding. I mean, I use ChatGPT quite a lot. It understands what I'm saying and understands my style, but it doesn't understand me, and it doesn't understand our clients, and it doesn't understand the relationship between us and our clients. And that's where, even if all you did was to start using AI a bit more for some of this stuff, that would still be better than you holding on to it, entirely on your own.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. All right. Yep. So step one.
Yeah. Step one.
We'll get what needs to be. Step one.
Oh, sorry.
What needs to be outsourced. Step two.
The systemise.
Yeah.
This can be so simple, and I think we can make it really complicated. Nobody likes the word systems and writing systems and all that sort of stuff. But if you keep it as simple as what does good look like,
yep.
Even if you get a job completed at 70% or 80% of what you would do,
yep,
it's a win.
Yeah, that's that General Colin Powell, the 70% rule. Yeah. So if you can get something that's done at a 70% level of what you would normally do, that's probably good enough. It's at least going to free you up some time to spend it, as you said, on high-level clients or on looking after your team better or on generating better marketing outcomes for yourself. So step number one was work out what needs to be outsourced. Step number two, systemize before you outsource. But here's the absolute kicker here. A system can be as simple as a checklist, can't it?
Easy. We do complicate things and we just don't need to.
And in fact, a checklist is a really powerful tool.
Yeah.
Right? A process document, or maybe a short training video. You can jump on and use something like Loom.
Yeah.
Shoot yourself a Loom video. Hey, this is how you do it. You can follow the bouncing ball. So systemizing it is step number two and nice and simple. What's number three?
What falls on past that is test it. Start small and then test it.
Yep.
Don't expect to outsource something and then have the entire job done in the same amount of time that you do. Yep. You want to simplify the task and then add little bits on as you go.
Yeah. And I think that's a great example of not sort of walking in one morning and just going, right, I'm going to outsource everything.
Yeah.
Grab your bookkeeping, get somebody to do your bookkeeping, and then stop and think about, so we often talk with our mastermind clients in pains and drains and gains, right? So what's draining you and what would you gain by taking the time that you're spending on the drain if you spent that time elsewhere? What would that do for you?
Yeah.
And so just pick one thing, outsource that, and then test it.
I hear people saying, they're spending so long on doing a task and I'm not getting good value for money. It's costing me a fortune. May as well do it myself and just be done with.
Yep.
But that's not going to work for you. If you can focus on the outcome and not the hours that somebody is working on something, that's a better way to go about it, because they will get quicker as they get more confidence and as the trust builds, and you will be able to fine tune the expectation and the role and the clarity around all of it. Yep. So that time is not an issue.
It's about an ROI, right?
Yep.
A return on investment. And so obviously you've got to be cautious in terms of hours. If you've got a job that's a 1 hour job, someone's taking 20 hours, well, they're just taking the piss then. But I think the other thing too is to think about not just ROI, but COI, which is cost of inaction. In other words, if I don't outsource this, if I don't get someone else to do this, what's it costing me? So there's a COI component to this as well. And I love that thought. Caroline, I remember years ago when we were doing a lot of one-on-one coaching and somebody said to me, what's the fee? And I told him, and he said, well, how many hours do I get for that? And I said to him, that is the wrong question you're asking me. You shouldn't be asking me what are the hours. You should be saying to me, Mark, what is the outcome you will deliver to me for that investment?
Yeah.
Because what do you care if you pay me $1,000 and I get it done in an hour, you pay me $1,000 an hour. But if the return on investment is $10,000, it shouldn't matter. I mean, are you going to feel better if you pay me $1,000 it's taking me 10 hours? That way you're only paying me $100 an hour. Are you going to feel better about it? Or do you really not care if the outcome is the same? If it's still a 10x return on your investment?
Yep.
So that's what you got to look at. You got to look at what is the X return on the investment and focus less on the hours. I love that.
Yep.
Number 5.
Number 5 is the creating communication rhythm. That is all about where is outsourcing failing, and often this is sitting in the communication space.
Yep. So that's about, when you're talking about a communication rhythm, that's like regular check-ins.
Yeah.
And there's tools out there to use for that, right?
Great tools that you can use as Trello, Asana, ClickUp. You can emailing, but not as easy when it comes to back and forward things, because things get lost in emails. But where you can get clear feedback loops in your conversations is really a great tool.
Yeah, 100%. And what you're looking for is consistency here.
Yeah.
Right, but consistency prevents those small issues from becoming big issues. So step number 5, a really solid but simple communication rhythm. All right, we're on the home run.
On the home run. Step 6, document as you go. So every time you outsource something, well, successfully, there needs to be a documentation process.
But that can be a video, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to get somebody to come in and write the procedures for you and doing an ISO. So you can just do it nice and simple, and you just shoot a video on your phone. I use Loom on my phone all the time.
Yep. You're creating, if you're using a Loom, you create yourself a little library in there, and then you can put the link back into a Trello board, for example, and your procedures there, refer back to it so somebody doesn't have to find it. And it just makes the process really easy. And if things are documented, there's less chance of things being wrong.
So it becomes a real growth system, doesn't it? Because, I mean, the goal here isn't to simply outsource tasks. The goal is to actually build a system that allows others to deliver consistent outcomes without constant supervision.
Yeah.
And that's how you scale your business. We talk in Mastermind about getting time, money, and freedom, right? So if you really want to get this time and freedom back and then ultimately scale the money in your business, you got to stop doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
And because what happens is you become the blockage, you become the roadblock, you become the bottleneck. And so this outsourcing isn't just about getting shit done by somebody else. It's actually about building a system that enables other people to do things without your constant supervision, and in a way which then actually helps to scale your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, this is some stuff that these are the sort of things we talk about in our Friday focus sessions, but we've got a Friday focus session coming up specifically on this point. So we're going to dive in a lot more and give some really practical tools on this. So Caroline, these are the sort of things that we talk about in our Friday focus sessions. So every Friday, 10 o'clock Brisbane time on Zoom, we get all of our clients from all over Australia and New Zealand, and we talk about deep dive into these topics. And they're about a 45-minute session, but it's designed to be a real takeaway where they can go and implement this stuff in the business. We've got one of these coming up. I'm just thinking, why don't we throw that open? Why don't we throw that open to our listeners? If you would like to join us for that session, just comment below, yes, please, and we'll get you all the details. And let's get them involved.
Yep, definitely.
It'll be great. You're about to cough again.
I'm going to cough.
Yeah, that's all right. Fantastic. Okay, so Caroline, quick recap on the 6 things that you've got to do, right? There's a 6-step process. Design, number 1, decide on what should be outsourced. Number 2, systemise it. Number 3, start small and test it. Number 4, focus on the outcomes, not the hours it's taking for somebody to do something. Number 5, a really simple communication rhythm. And then finally, number 6, document it as you go. And you can do that with your phone, with Letterly. You can do it with Loom, really super simple stuff.
Yep.
Again, running one of these on one of our Friday sessions. If you'd like to join us and dive a lot deeper and actually get a chance to ask us about how you can apply this in your business, just comment on that below. Yes, please. And we will get all the details to you.
Yes, please. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Caroline. Good stuff.